tremendous defense. They don't take a lot of chances on offense. They're good at the forecheck. They're good at the back check. They have solid goaltending. They don't take a whole lot of penalties, even though today they took a few more than they wanted to. They did allow, 36 shots on goal, but that was almost, for four periods plus. So, it's still around 9 a period. That's where I like to keep you. So, if they can do that with their formula, they can beat anybody. And they've been the most consistent team in this tournament.
All right, let's take a look at the highlights from the first game today. Iowa State taking on Michigan Dearborn, the 5 seed taking on the 2 seed, and it was a back-and-forth affair. Iowa State opened up the scoring first. Trevor Sabo gets the opening goal, makes it 1-0 Cyclones in that first period, but Michigan Dearborn came pretty much right off after that goal, and they get 2 goals from Tyler Grote. He was amazing for Michigan Dearborn in this one.
He was really amazing. He did everything right. He not only played well with the puck, he played well without the puck. Tremendous hockey player, and when Dearborn got that lead 2-1, I kept thinking if they score another goal and get up 2 the way Iowa State's style is, they're going to have a hard time coming back. But if Iowa State can get the lead, usually they can hold it. And they didn't make too many mistakes today. A few careless penalties. One of the goals was a soft goal that they would like to have back. But other than that, they played championship hockey, which is great defense, great positioning, good penalty kill. I mean, they just did everything correctly today.
Yeah, you're taking a look at the highlights there. That was Nicholas Sandy that tied the game at 2. And then this game ends up going to double overtime in this contest, and a great redirection in front, a tip goal in double overtime. Colton Kramer's the hero for Iowa State as he punches that ticket to the national championship.
Well, getting traffic in front of the net is so critical. That's how you beat a great goalie. You got to get traffic in front of the net, and you got to charge the net hard. And at the same time, your defensemen have got to be able to stay back far enough in case there's a turnover.
I'll say, as we take a look at the final stats from that one, so Iowa State wins 3-2. They knock off the number 2 seed in this tournament, 3-2 the final score. Shots 41-36 with a double overtime game. That's a pretty reasonable shot count, but it came down to the power plays. A lot of teams had a lot of opportunities, especially Dearborn, 1 for 5 on the man advantage, just couldn't get the puck into the back of the net.
No, they couldn't. They had some opportunities, but once again, Iowa State's a team that likes to keep you away from the center of the ice. They like to keep you out of the slot. They like to keep you along the boards, pin you there, check you there, leave you there, and take the puck. And, they're an opportunistic team. They like to be able to steal, get steals, and come with a 2-on-1 or a 3-on-2 and take their defense and translate it over to their offense.
Yeah, so you look at the stat line there for Matt Gadecki, his 3rd win of the tournament, 34 save performance, and he was huge for Iowa State. He was the backstop for the Cyclone defense.
He's been tremendous all tournament. He got a shutout against Stony Brook in the first game. So, he's the last line of defense, and he's been as good as any goalie in this tournament.
All right, so Iowa State punches their ticket to the national championship. Who's going to play? We already talked about Minot State taking on that #1 team in the country, Lindenwood, trying to move on to that championship game, but the Beavers had other plans. As we take a look at the highlights of this one, not a lot of scoring in this one, but we open it up with Blake Fournier. He gets the goal in that second period, and that ended up being the only goal in this contest.
Well, it's a question on the right circle there, on the side of the circle, who wants it more? Minot State won the battle on the boards, and then look, and he was just open for the goal in the slot, in between the 2 circles, and the goaltender, Seabot, just didn't have a chance.
Yeah, as you take a look at that one,
great shot.
Yeah, that actually ended up not counting. They ended up going to video review. It looked like a good goal from upstairs, but the referees waved it off. That would have made it 2-0 Minot State, but it ended up being disallowed. So we stayed at 1-0. Lindenwood threw everything that they could at Minot State, and they got a power play in the final about 2 minutes or so to try and tie that score, but Minot's defense played exceptionally well tonight.
Well, they played perfect hockey. On the penalty kill, it was the box or the 2-2, whatever you want to call it. Their penalty kill was perfect this tournament. It was 10 for 10. And that's really the reason why they're in this championship game is because of their penalty kill on special teams.
Yeah, as we take a look at the final stats from this one, 1-0 is the final score. It's a 23-save shutout for Joshua Bykowski, as he was a tremendous filling in for Efforts, who was hurt last night.
What a story.
In that quarterfinal. He comes in that back half, ends up getting the win for Minot last night. He gets a shutout tonight against the top team in the country, and Minot State's moving on in the national championship.
1 loss all season long for Lindenwood going into this game today. and they happened to lose today. And I think they played really well today. It's just Minot State played a little bit better. They made one less mistake.
Yeah, so Minot State is moving on to the championship game. It'll be the 5 seed against the 6 seed as we look at the schedule for tomorrow. Just one game on the docket here in Division 1. It'll take on the Beavers and the Cyclones at 7:30 right here at the Comerica Center. We'll have it for you right here on the ACHA network as the Beavers and Cyclones will decide who will be our national champion. Iowa State, the original champion out of this tournament, haven't won since. They have a chance to do that here in 2019 as they take on a strong Minot State club.
I mentioned it when I did the color between Iowa State and Stony Brook. I said Iowa State would win the championship. I'm going to stick with it. They've been the most consistent team in the tournament. They played the best defense, and I think they win it all. They're the most disciplined team of all the teams in the tournament.
All right. So, yeah.
Low scoring game. I think you're going to see 2-1, 1-0, 3-2 max. I just think it may go to overtime, but I just think that they're going to pull it off again with the same formula they've been using all tournament.
On that note, who are you looking to see rise in that championship game? Because we've talked about the penalty kill, we've talked about the defense, we talked about the scoring. What's the big key for tomorrow night's game?
Godecki. I mean, he's been the best goalie in this tournament in terms of making key saves at the right time. He's the last line of defense. I think he's the key. If he's on like he's been on all tournament, they're gonna win it.
All right, so that is at 7:30 tomorrow night, right here at the Comerica Center in Frisco, Texas. We'll have it for you here on the ACHA network on our YouTube page. Again, 7:30 is the game tomorrow. It'll be after the Division II National Championship game, which is at 4 o'clock. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit. We'll go to break. When we come back, Brett Luthner joins us to break down the semifinals that happened here at the Comerica Center last night as well. We'll talk about those games coming up right here on ACHA tonight. Don't go anywhere as we break down Division II coming up next.
Come on! You know the answer. You studied for this. Come on. Timmy! Come on, Timmy. You got this, son. Pencil to paper. Focus. Come on, Timmy. Focus. Focus. Take the puck. There you go. Skate! Skate! Pass it! You call that a pass? What are you doing? You missed the puck! Come on!
There are a few things that come along that change the course of history. Inventions or developments that reshape society. They usually aren't appreciated at first. In fact, they're often scoffed at. What good will that be?
Hello? Hi.
Surely that can't be practical.
She loves to see you.
But then, slowly, over time, the greatness of these achievements become manifest.
Hi!
Until one day, you ask yourself how you ever lived without them. That's the nature of turning points. They bring us to new roads and new heights. They open doors we never thought possible. So it's important that we go forward together.
I'm here with Gina.
That our growth
She's okay.
might not just benefit the great, but the good also. In small ways, and in grand ones.
Dad.
The test of our progress is not whether we add more to the abundance of those who have much. It is whether we provide enough for those who have too little.
At Wilson Electronics, we push every day to amplify the power of communication, to connect those who love and those who cannot live without it.
And welcome back to ACHA tonight, breaking down day 5 of the 2019 ACHA National Championship Tournament live here from Frisco, Texas. I'm Matt Coma. That's Brett Luthner. He was over here at Comerica Center on the other side watching the D2 semifinals today, and we saw a lot of jam-packed action over there.
It was great action all day long over at the other rink. Just a lot of tight hockey, a lot of close checking hockey all day long. We had two absolutely amazing semifinals.
Yeah, as we're going to talk about those, let's take a look at the first game. We saw a Northeastern matchup as Northeastern took on UMass Amherst, the 1 seed versus the 3 seed out of the Northeast region. And it's the Huskies, the surprise team out of this whole thing. I would say the surprise now because many expected UMass to win this game, but Northeastern came out with a game plan and they got it done.
You know what? I wasn't surprised in terms of what the score was going to be. I knew it was going to be tight checking going into it. Didn't expect it to be goalless after 2 periods of play, but both teams very familiar with each other. Both teams laid it all on the line. Northeastern just has found that the way to make that extra play. Matt Koziel getting the game-winning goal with 55 seconds left in regulation when everybody in the building thought we were going to overtime. Again, just finding a way to make that play.
As Northeastern punches their ticket, I believe you came on this broadcast last night and predicted a score that looked kind of like this.
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that.
I said 1-0 and 2-1. It came about because, but both teams really just both coaches do a great job of instilling a good, solid defensive foundation in them, and that's what we saw again earlier today. Both teams played very solid defensively. There wasn't much give or take either way. And then finally, you found guys willing their ways to the net to make it happen.
You mentioned that the scoring didn't happen to the third. Were you surprised that it took that long to find the game's first goal?
It took that long, yes.
Yeah.
Was I surprised? I mean, I figured goalless after 1. I thought somebody was going to break the lock in the second, and they didn't. And we were going a good deal in the third. And then next thing you know, bang, bang, here comes 2 goals. And well, now we're all back to square one again. And I thought overtime was coming before Matt Koziel changed that.
So we've talked about on the show a couple of times this week that the Northeast region has been pretty solid in this tournament. Are you happy with Northeastern being the team that represents the Northeast in the championship?
You know, Fred Carpenter does such a great job with that team. And year after year, and I've seen them play for a while, they keep on putting good teams together. They're always perennial top 3. I like seeing, I mean, UMass does well as well. Don't get me wrong. I would like to see neither one of them. You know, they would have been a fair representative for the Northeast. But hats off to both teams for a great season. And Fred Carpenter's guys team in the final now.
All right, so Northeastern punches their ticket to the championship, which will be here on this rink right behind us tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Who will they take on? It'll be either Cincinnati or Florida Gulf Coast. Battle of the Southeast region as we take a look at the stats from that one. And pretty much Cincinnati made this a game late, but it seemed like Florida Gulf Coast had pretty much a handle on this one.
It was interesting because it was a scoreless first period, and you're like, okay, fine. Both teams, Florida Gulf Coast had a few more opportunities. Gulf Coast scored 2 quick goals to take a 2-0 lead, and Cincinnati gets a power play goal to bring it to within 1, and Armstrong scoring that goal, and you're like, okay, game on. Then early in the third, Eddie Leon gets what ends up being the game-winning goal. Right back comes Kiplinger to get it to within 1, but then after that, Florida Gulf Coast completely shut down any avenues to the net. Cincinnati could not get to the front of the net. That ended up being the key in this game, because with Cincinnati unable to get that traffic, Bostard was able to make 17 saves in the end to get the win.
Yeah, so Rambajan actually played yesterday, but they go to Buster this time around. Are you surprised by the goaltending change?
No, I'm absolutely not surprised by it. Buster, he's clearly shown he's the #1 goaltender on this team. He's played great all tournament long. Had another solid one tonight. Only got to face 4 shots in that third period, and pretty much once Cincinnati scored, I think he only had 1 shot or 2 shots that got to goal because the Eagles' defense was blocking everything in sight. Yeah,
32-19 the shot count in this one. It's a pretty low shot affair, especially when Florida Gulf Coast is involved. Usually they're at the 40 to 50 plateau in these contests, but it was actually more of a defensive battle than I thought it was going to be.
It became a defensive battle because Florida Gulf Coast realized Cincinnati always plays them tough. It's 1-2 goal games. Early in the season, more high scoring. Last year they split and they were both low scoring games. And so you sat there and like, okay, once Florida Gulf Coast realized what's going on here, Bob Brinkworth and company, they all changed stuff, and they got, we first order of business, keep them out from the front of the net. If we could do that, we're going to win this game. Sure enough, they did.
Yep, so Florida Gulf Coast is in the championship game once again. They will get to defend their title right behind us tomorrow afternoon here at the Comerica Center. Let's take a look at the schedule for D2 tomorrow. Just 1 game on the docket as the Northeastern Huskies take on the Florida Gulf Coast Eagles. Winner gets the championship, and they get all the rights in 2019.
And they get the Radakovich Cup, if they get that win. And it's going to, if Northeastern can force Florida Gulf Coast to play another defensive style of hockey, and Northeastern's got some pretty decent horses on there to pose an offensive threat, But if they can make this a defensive game, it's going to be a thriller going on tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, looking at just the stats from a stats perspective here, Nicholas Cam has been unreal in net for Northeastern. I think he could be the key. If Northeastern gets that upset, it's going to be because of Cam in between the pipes.
Oh, absolutely, it's going to be because he's been, to me, he's been the goaltender of the tournament. He's turned in 3 stellar performances in this tournament so far. Now he's going to go up against the highest powered offense he'll faced in Florida Gulf Coast, but he, you know how it always goes. You get the hot goalie, anything can happen. This is a one-game situation. It's Game 7 tomorrow, essentially. And if your goalie's hot and Nicholas Cam is hot, it could really provide some problems.
So we see Florida Gulf Coast in the championship yet again. They won last year, beating Lindenwood back in Columbus. Now they take on Northeastern. Can the Huskies dethrone the champs?
They can. I'm not going to say they're not. I'm not going to give them no chance at all. They very well can. And again, if Cam plays the way he's capable of, and you know, you let guys like Koziel and let guys like Rustin Keene get loose, it could present a problem. And so, but I said it on the reveal show a month and a half ago. I'm still picking Florida Gulf Coast.
That's it. They're the overall favorite here. What do they need to do well? Because we saw them on day 1 have a little bit of struggles, but they kind of found their rhythm. What do they have to accomplish to get things done here tomorrow?
If they get that tempo going at a frenetic pace, and Florida Gulf Coast really pressures the puck well, if they get that tempo going at a real fast pace, then it becomes overwhelming for some teams. I don't think it'll become overwhelming for Northeastern, but it'll be enough that it could cause some damage.
All right, so that is at 4 o'clock tomorrow, Northeastern against Florida Gulf Coast. Winner takes the 2019 Division II National Championship title. They get to take the cup home either to the Northeast or the Southeast. We'll find out tomorrow. I know Brett's on the call, Andrew and JP down there as well. You guys do a fantastic job on those broadcasts. It's going to be a fun one.
Thank you. I'll have JP next to me. Andrew's getting in a favorite spot between the benches, so, you know, Rasty will be on it as well. We're all going to have a great old time tomorrow afternoon.
All right, so it's going to be a fun day here. We'll break it down one more time. We got our 3 stars of the night to promote as well. So we'll take a break. We'll wrap a bow up on everything, and we'll get you ready for Championship Tuesday here from the Comerica Center. We'll take a break. We'll be back in just a little bit here on ACHA Tonight. Whew. Nice job, Brett. Thank you, sir. One more time. I'm very tempted to broadcast tomorrow. I've actually, okay, I have dress or clothing things. I went from shoes, or like dress shoes and shirts and pants and stuff, to now it's just jeans.
You ready? This guy's not ready. You're not ready. Go!
Hockey heads are special, which is why we protect them with a helmet designed, built, and tested to endure real-world hockey impacts.
And welcome back to ACHA Tonight, wrapping things up on Day 5 here of the 2019 ACHA National Championship Tournament. Day 6 is tomorrow. We kick off another division tomorrow. Division 3 kicks off from Plano. We'll have all the action from all 8 games over there on the ACHA Network on our YouTube page as well. But more importantly, we have 2 championships to crown tomorrow. It's beginning with the Division 2 games. We take a look at the schedule. The games kick off at 4 o'clock p.m. Central Time as Northeastern takes on Florida Gulf Coast in the Division 2 National Championship contest. Again, Florida Gulf Coast, the defending national champions, looking to defend their title against Northeastern, who's looking to upset the Eagles and claim the national championship for their own. At 7:30 here on the main rink here at the Comerica Center will be the Division 1 National Championship game, as we saw 2 upsets tonight. Minot State beating the top-ranked Lindenwood Lions, and they'll take on the 5th-ranked Iowa State Cyclones, who beat Michigan Dearborn earlier today. One of those teams will walk away with the national championship and the Murdoch Cup tomorrow night. We'll have both of those games live for you right here on the ACHA Network as we bring you the D1 and D2 National Championship Tournament Championship games. As we take a look, before we say goodbye, let's take a look at our 3 stars of the night. Obviously, your number 1 star of the night is Joshua Bykowski, coming in replace of efforts yesterday. He gets the 23-save shutout to punch Minot State's ticket to the national championship game. He takes the number 1 star of the night. We talked about Matt Koziel. He got the game-winning goal against UMass in the final minute of regulation to punch Northeastern's ticket to the national championship game earlier in Division 2. And then Nicholas Cam is your 3rd star of the night. as he was solid in net. We talked with Brett just a moment ago about how solid he's been in net for the Huskies, as he picks up 3rd star of the night with 31 saves in that win over the Minutemen. That's going to do it for us here on ACHA tonight. We want to thank Todd Corder and Brett Luthner for joining us tonight. We want to thank Andrew, Josh, AJ, and everybody with the broadcast crew that made this possible. I'm Matt Coma signing off from Day 5. We will see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. for the D3 games over at Plano. We'll have those on our YouTube page. And then 4 o'clock here for the D2 championship, 7:30 for the D1 championship, as we bring you championship hockey live here from Frisco and Day 6 of the National Championship Tournament. I'm Matt Coma signing off tonight. We'll see you tomorrow for another day of ACHA hockey right here from Frisco, Texas. Have a great rest of the night, and we'll see you tomorrow.